Hello, Akira again. I got some other questions from Elenis from Brazil. So today I'm going to answer hard questions based on my experience here in America. For a long time, I was thinking to go to Japanese university because that's like one of the most common options that most of Japanese high school student would take as their next step for their life. But to me, going there wasn't quite attractive to me as much as it was to me coming to the United States and studying and getting a degree here. One of the reasons why I decided to come here and study in university in the United States was that simply I wanted to be different from all other my peers in Japan. It was something that I've really wanted for a long time, and at that time, as I was a high school student, being able to speak English and plus learn to do something besides English was pretty attractive option. In my junior year in high school, I asked my teacher that like if I wanted to study English, like what should I do? And then that teacher told me that being able to speak English is not something that you can use to make yourself differentiate from others right now. And she also said that it's important for you to have some other sets of skills that you can perform after you graduated so that you will be really employable or do something different than what most other people would do. So that's like one of the biggest reasons why I decided to come here, because as the world has become more and more global, and English is becoming a common language that everyone would speak to communicate. And a lot of Japanese universities realize that the importance of having students learn English as a second language and then have them be able to speak that language is demanded by society, and they started having a program where students can study English intensively, but the only thing that they learn from there is English. The only thing they will be able to do after they graduate is to be able to speak English, and that's not something what I wanted with my education. So going to United States was a pretty good option for me because I get to speak English all the time, as well as I can learn something else besides English. That's something that I've been thinking recently because I only have one semester left, here in the United States, and I really need to think about my next step after graduation from Chico State. One of my professors told me if I really want to work in the US after I graduated here, she said she will be able to recommend me to one of the companies, design studios that she know. So, and I have been working as a graphic designer on campus for more than 1 year, and it will be 1.5 years by the time I graduate. So in terms of language barriers and those difficulties in communication, I'm not really worried about that kind of aspects. But since I'm an international student, it will be somewhat or actually harder for me to get a job after I'm done with my studies, because first of all I have to apply for a program called OPT, which is an abbreviation for optical practical training that I can get with the F1 visa, and it cost me about $400, and then it only let me work about 12-month period of time. So, and then after the recent presidential election, it will be not ideal for me to work in the United States, because the situation is kind of getting worse for us as international students in the US if they really want to work. So I haven't got a clear answer on that. The program itself called communication design, and within that department I chose graphic design as my focus of the studies. And what I do is basically I make posters, I make brochures, I make magazines, I make websites, I make some interactive application, I make logos and all other different visual designs, and also screen interfaces, and it really a broad area of study, I would say, because since the right now graphic design as an occupation, it's becoming more and more vague because of the technological advancement. So it's kind of hard for me to define what kind of graphic design, what kind of design I'm studying. It just, I would say, any sorts of design. And yeah, one of the cool things about graphic design is that I can use that skills for myself, and I can use that skills for companies, and I can perform that skill in any different areas of businesses, or even some volunteering projects.
So that's how I like about graphic design, and that's what I'm studying as a graphic design major. I have 4 classes, and since my major is graphic design, most of the classes are lab-based class, which is about 2 hours for each session. And if I take that into consideration, 8 hours, but it's about 16 hours a week. That's the amount of time I have for classes. For the past 2 years, I think there are like a lot of Brazilian exchange students from, I'm not quite sure which part of Brazil they're from, but some of them are from like Rio de Janeiro or São Paulo, like those kind of places, and mostly they were here for a year as an exchange student. And I made a couple of friends from Brazil, and I think they're really fun people. And like I used to hang out with them like every weekend. We just got together and drink and talk a lot, and also they really like dancing. So it was fun to hang out with them. That's my like basic impression from them. Yeah. Used to American food. The American food, they are certainly really greasy and large in portion. So it was a bit hard for me to get used to it. Took me about at least half a year for my stomach to digest those food without any problem. Like for the first like couple months I came here, I had to eat them every day, and like every time I eat I had a stomach ache, and it was really painful. But right now my stomach is really used to eating them as my regular intake. Thank you so much for watching my video. I still haven't decided what kind of stuff I want to do on this channel besides answering questions from people who are interested in studying abroad, but I will try to find things that I want to do as soon as possible, and I will let you guys know. So see you next time. Bye.